December 10th, 2025, 50 Cent reveals that he is sitting on 140 hours of unused footage from the Diddy documentary, material that Netflix reportedly considered far too explosive to release. Soon after, leaked clips begin circulating that show exactly why it was blocked, and the impact is brutal. Now 50 is warning that he may release everything on YouTube, saying this is the footage they never wanted the public to see. It all traces back to December 10th, 2025, with 50 Cent sitting on Sherri Shepherd's couch, fresh off beating Stranger Things on Netflix worldwide. As congratulations pour in, Sherri asks about a possible season 2, and that is when 50 casually says he will just put it on YouTube, delivering the line with a smirk that makes it clear he is completely serious.
I want to congratulate you on your docuseries, Sean Combs, The Reckoning. It's #1 on Netflix. Yeah. Like, it's been #1 on Netflix. Did you actually expect it to be as big as it got?
I expected it to be bigger. It's actually exceeding my expectations now.
For episodes, that is all Netflix approved. But behind the scenes, the documentary team was sitting on far more than what made it to air. A massive archive of footage never used. Material strong enough to stand on its own without corporate gatekeepers deciding what the audience gets to see. Not everything could make the final cut, as 50 explained on Sherri's show. Saying it was only 4 episodes, there was so much content, and choices had to be made. What was left behind turned the editing room floor into a goldmine. According to 50's own confirmation on Instagram, there are 140 hours of raw footage. When a fan video speculated about unreleased material, 50 responded directly, correcting the wording by saying there is 140 hours of footage, not that there was 140 hours, using the present tense, which means it still exists, and suggests that someone, most likely 50 himself, it still has it.
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. You know, he has a really amazing knack for marketing.
I don't understand why he filmed himself, 50 said while talking about Diddy's habit of self-documentation, though he admitted he was glad the footage exists because the implications land much harder. Content this explosive does not need Netflix approval, careful editing, or legal department sign-offs, which is why YouTube becomes the escape route, straight to the public, with no filters and just raw truth. 50 warned that the people defending him now will go very quiet when more comes out. And he gave one example during the Sherri Shepherd interview that never fit Netflix's narrative structure. He pointed out a pattern, saying Diddy chooses to date women who previously dated someone else, revealing that he has a child with a woman who was once involved with Tupac. That woman is Sarah Chapman, the mother of Chance Combs, born in 2006, who was reportedly connected to Tupac back in 1995, a detail that hung heavily in the air. 250, it shows a habit of targeting the exes of dead rivals, turning conquest into something personal, even beyond the grave. Footage exists that expands on this commentary, sitting inside those 140 hours of unreleased material, content that would have made this pattern impossible to ignore, but Netflix chose restraint while YouTube would not require it. Kim Porter's death in 2018 was completely absent from the final cut. Despite her being the mother of 3 of Diddy's children, her passing at 47, and the conspiracy theories that followed, the documentary avoided it entirely, citing sensitivity and the fact that her children publicly rejected those theories. With Netflix respecting the family's wishes, even as unanswered questions remained and the story felt incomplete, according to 50, those missing answers may exist inside that vault of footage, alongside other issues like the Kid Cudi firebombing allegation that resurfaced during the 2025 trial, including claims that Diddy ordered an attack on Cudi's Porsche following a conflict involving Cassie.
And so here on the case, we'd like to take a little bit more time and focus on some of the things that the jurors saw and heard. So we want to talk about the evidence of Kid Cudi's car. Leather lined with gasoline, luxury, cayenne-colored seats coated black with ash.
Trial testimony laid out every detail, the Molotov cocktail, the failed ignition, and the forensic evidence. Yet Netflix downplayed this entire storyline, citing the lack of definitive proof, dependence on witness testimony, and concerns over legal liability.
So this car was significant in many ways, David, because we saw it in the gallery and then the jurors saw it, because this is Kid Cudi's Porsche. It's the black one that was parked in his driveway in LA when he says that someone firebombed his vehicle. Let's go inside.
The 50 may still release those witness testimonies regardless, especially since YouTube operates under very different standards than major streaming platforms. Even the long-running 50 Cent beef, nearly 2 decades of very public back and forth, was ignored completely. The documentary mentioned it 0 times, with no acknowledgement at all of their rivalry. That silence reflects restraint on 50's part, choosing to keep the spotlight on Diddy's alleged crimes, instead of turning the project into a personal vendetta.
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like he was like a tester.
including that would have undermined credibility and made the project feel like a hit piece. Netflix required objectivity, but YouTube has no such requirement. That personal history could actually provide key context for why 50 pursued this project so relentlessly. What others see as a pre-existing beef, as 50 told interviewers, for 20 years. It's me being uncomfortable with him, suggesting that he takes me shopping.
Went away.
Went away.
Got in the car and said, I feel like I need to wash, like I'm dirt. That was, it shows you his character.
Was that the reason for including it?
Yeah, I mean, what's the odds that you would do that in front of the camera?
The Tupac murder deep dive documentary addressed the topic and included Keith D's confession, but it didn't go as deep as it could have. There is more footage about Diddy's alleged involvement that remains unused, additional witness testimonies, documentation of the money trail, and the full conspiracy still waiting to be revealed. Netflix opted for a careful presentation, avoiding legal liability and maintaining journalistic distance, but those 140 hours of footage contain material far too explosive for corporate comfort.
The goal of what the film is trying to do is to let the audience kind of come in to ask questions like, were their decisions colored by certain things, and who got the benefit of the doubt?
Time constraints on Netflix forced tough choices, with editorial decisions weighing what advanced the narrative against what might distract. YouTube, however, removes those limits, allowing a deep dive into every revelation without concern for episode length or pacing. The white parties went completely unexplored. Those legendary gatherings from 1998 to 2009, attended by everyone from Justin Bieber to Leonardo DiCaprio, with all-white dress codes, stilt walkers, and pool swings. Diddy's representatives claimed nothing inappropriate happened at these events. But what does the footage actually show?
I think it's important to also let people know that the show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. We weren't trying to just get the highlights, the salacious details, that the real goal was to storytell.
Cassie's testimony during the 2025 trial spanned 4 days of emotional revelations about alleged abuse, coercion, and recording without consent. She detailed how she took drugs to dissociate during freakouts, yet none of this made Netflix's cut too recent, too raw, and too legally complex. But the trial transcripts exist, a public record waiting to be examined without censorship. YouTube offers a platform for an unfiltered look at the testimony that helped convict Diddy on transportation charges. The self-filmed footage Netflix did use came from Diddy's own videographer, Michael Oberle, who later claimed a third party leaked the material while he was away. The actions of those involved reflect the lack of integrity every storyteller should uphold. Oberle stated,
"Listen to me, I'm gonna get off the phone right now, and I am going to let true professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what nobody said, let's just here or there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing."
Diddy's team issued cease and desist letters, calling the documentary stolen footage that was never authorized for release and threatening billion-dollar lawsuits. Netflix stood its ground, insisting that everything had been legally obtained. That dispute alone proves just how explosive the material isn't. It's only the beginning. The footage that Netflix did release already changed everything, showing Diddy calling for someone experienced in the dirtiest of dirty business to assist with propaganda, requesting hand sanitizer after hugging fans in Harlem, and capturing private moments that reveal the public facade.
Look, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip-hop is fine with its behaviors.
But 140 hours remain. Testimonies cut for time, allegations deemed too sensitive, connections that required more context than 4 episodes could allow, the full story of Sarah Chapman and Tupac, the complete breakdown of Kid Cudi's car, every detail that Netflix's lawyers considered too risky. 50 warned that the people supporting him now will be very quiet when more comes out. Not a threat, a promise. This goes beyond corporate streaming deals and carefully edited narratives. It's about direct access, raw truth, and unfiltered reality. YouTube operates under different standards than streaming giants. No legal departments demanding sit-offs. No corporate stakeholders worried about backlash. Just upload and let the public decide. December 10th, 2025 could mark the point when everything changes. When documentaries stop being limited by network constraints and become direct conversations between creator and audience. When 140 hours of truth are accessible to anyone with an internet connection, 50 Cent is sitting on the nuclear option, the full story. Unedited, unfiltered, unstoppable. Ready to drop whenever Netflix's version proves insufficient. Ready to answer every question left hanging. The vault exists. The footage is real, And somewhere between Instagram posts and talk show appearances, 50 Cent made his intentions clear. This story doesn't end with 4 episodes. It ends when every frame sees daylight, when every allegation is examined, and when 140 hours become public record. That smirk on Sherry's couch said everything. The man who spent 20 years warning people about Diddy now holds proof, not speculation, not rumors, raw footage of the moments that defined a predator. And soon, everyone gets to see it. Netflix only showed what they could because the material they left out was far too explosive. December 1st, 2025, the day before Netflix released their documentary on Sean Combs. His lawyers fired off a cease and desist letter threatening immediate legal action. The footage in question included private moments filmed 6 days before his arrest, conversations with his attorney, and strategy sessions never meant for public eyes. Netflix responded that they were releasing it anyway.
Sean Diddy Combs have now sent a cease and desist letter to Netflix.
That's right. They are demanding it not release a docuseries featuring the embattled mogul.
But here's where it gets interesting. The footage Diddy's team is calling stolen comes from a documentary project Diddy himself began when he was just 19 years old. Decades of self-documentation, every major moment, every conversation, every decision, the man filmed it all. He wanted to control his own narrative, tell his own story, and present his own version of events. The problem is, he never finished it. And now Netflix has it.
You want to put stuff in my fanny pack?
The exclusive video obtained by Netflix shows Combs debating with his lawyers about strategy.
The spokesperson went public immediately, stating that Netflix used footage that was never authorized for release, including private moments, pre-indictment material from an unfinished project, and conversations about legal strategy that were never meant for public viewing. What exactly counts as these private moments? Diddy's team is especially concerned about footage showing him alone in his hotel room, personal phone calls with his children, and moments of genuine vulnerability and fear anxiety attacks caught on camera. The human side of him that he spent decades keeping from the public. One particularly revealing moment shows him in a vehicle after meeting fans.
Oh, fuck that. Oh, Lord, your way. I'm away. Lord, your way. Be with it.
I'll accept. I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on.
The footage was shot on September 10th, 2024, 6 days before federal agents would arrest him in Manhattan. The investigation was already underway, and Diddy knew charges were imminent. He documented everything, planning his defense strategy and collecting material for what he believed would be his version of events. The legal strategy conversations are especially striking, including phone calls with his attorney, Mark Egner, discussing how to manipulate media perception.
I want to have a life to be able to live. You know, it's really going to be hard for me to take more hits than I take it. God forbid, get in front of a jury and have a chance.
Attorney-client privilege, that's the issue Diddy's team is skirting around without directly asserting. Here's the catch. If a third party filmed the footage and that third party owns it, the question of privilege becomes complicated.
I listened. I've been a superb client, as you said. I jumped on the plane, I'm coming to New York, but I'm just running around waiting for a shoe to drop.
Diddy's team argues that this was an unfinished project, material collected since he was 19, intended for a documentary about his life that he would have complete control over. The project was never completed before his arrest, creating the legal gray area that Netflix is now exploiting.
Because you may just be the person that you just may watch CNN. So you at the wrong place looking to see what the people with the possible jurors are thinking.
The key phrase in their statement, no rights were ever transferred to Netflix. According to Diddy's lawyers, the footage was created for an entirely different purpose under an arrangement that was never completed. But here's where it gets messy. The freelancer who filmed some of this material had physical possession, and if Diddy never paid him, that changes everything.
And since you didn't watch it, Ebro, there's one piece
I watched some of it
where there's very intimate footage of Diddy with his lawyers, but in the documentary, it also talks about how he hired a young person to film him.
The cease and desist letter arrived on December 1st, literally hours before the Netflix premiere. The language was aggressive. Mr. Combs has not hesitated to take legal action against media entities and others who violate his rights, and he will not hesitate to do so against Netflix. A clear threat, but Netflix didn't flinch.
A spokesperson for Combs accused Netflix of using, quote, stolen footage that was never authorized for release, and what they called a shameful hit piece. A statement from the docuseries director says the filmmaking team obtained the footage legally.
Why did the letter fail? Because Netflix is a multi-billion-dollar corporation with teams of lawyers reviewing every single frame, every still photo, every piece of footage. They don't release anything without bulletproof legal clearance. Earlier in 2024, Diddy already tried this playbook, suing NBC Universal for $100 million over their documentary. Diddy, the making of a bad boy that aired on Peacock. That defamation suit is still ongoing and established a pattern. Diddy sues when documentaries come out. But Netflix is different, deeper pockets than NBC, a stronger legal team, and clear evidence that they legally procured this footage. When you hire someone to film, but never pay them, never complete the contract, and never secure the rights, that footage belongs to the person who shot it.
So if Diddy never signed paperwork, he was like, no, I'm gonna get you when I get you.
Yeah, that's right.
Now Diddy never gave him $1. Now Diddy went to jail. He's holding all this footage. 50 goes, I'd like that footage. All right, how much, bud?
Yeah.
So if Diddy never signed the paperwork, he was basically thinking, no, I'm going to get you when I get you. And that's exactly what happened. Diddy never gave him $1. Then Diddy went to jail, and he was holding all this footage. 50 said, I like that footage. Alright, how much, bud? Diddy's team called it fundamentally unfair and illegal for Netflix to misappropriate that work, using his life's documentation against him. Decades of self-filming meant to exonerate him were now incriminating. But courts don't care about fairness, they care about who owns what. So what did Diddy actually film? Everything? Every major life event since he was 19. Studio sessions, parties, business meetings, conversations with artists and executives, personal moments with partners, arguments, celebrations, and apparently crimes. The narcissism of documenting everything, believing he would control the final version, never thinking it could end up destroying him instead.
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
And 50 Cent confirms they had far more content than could be used. 4 episodes couldn't contain everything, which means there's still more footage sitting somewhere, waiting.
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot. You had to pick and choose things. Like even in an area where he chooses to date people who he knows previously dated someone.
Some wondered if Netflix deliberately held back certain material, topics too sensitive even for their legal team to handle.
Well, that's why I wonder if certain things were left out because of Netflix not wanting drama. Like, we were talking about this yesterday, Ebro. Like, how did he not include any of the stuff and rumors about Kim Porter's death?
On December 2nd, Netflix released the documentary anyway. Diddy's team could threaten all they wanted. The footage was out there, and millions had already watched it. On December 10th, Michael Oberle stepped forward, calling himself Sean Combs's documentarian. He had been working on a project profiling the mogul for over 2 years. The footage everyone was fighting over? He didn't release it, someone else did. Oberle explained, the footage in question was not released by me or anyone authorized to handle Sean Combs's materials. A third party, covering for him for just 3 days while he was out of state, had handled it 3 days that were enough for decades of self-documentation to slip through Diddy's fingers. Oberle added that this had nothing to do with a fee dispute or contract issue. If it wasn't about money, what was it? Oberle called it unethical taking footage, intended for one project to advance a narrative that wasn't his own. Legally though, Netflix had cleared it, with teams of lawyers reviewing every frame. The third party had possession, the transfer was legal, and now it was public record. Combs's team continued to threaten lawsuits, the same threats made against NBC. Universal, with the $100 million defamation suit still pending, the pattern was clear. Threaten everyone, sue some, win none. But this time was different. This footage wasn't allegations or filtered interviews, it was Diddy's own words, his own strategy, his own admission that he needed someone experienced in the dirtiest of dirty business to manipulate public perception. The man who filmed everything to control his legacy had just given the world the unedited version, every private conversation with his attorney, every moment of desperation, every strategic discussion about managing media narratives, all captured on cameras he wanted there. Netflix released the documentary on December 2nd. Millions watched the stolen footage playing on repeat, Diddy's own voice damning him in ways prosecutors never could. No legal threat could change what was already seen. The cease and desist letter mentioned Ted Sarandos by name and referenced the legacy of Clarence Avant, trying to make it personal, as if invoking family connections would make Netflix blink. They didn't. When you're serving time in federal prison, facing dozens of civil suits, and your release date gets pushed back, your leverage disappears, your threats ring hollow. And that documentary project filmed since age 19, the one meant to cement your legend, becomes the very evidence destroying it. The footage was created for an entirely different purpose, under an arrangement that was never completed. Filmed by someone who had physical possession when the arrangement fell apart. And now it belongs to the story he never wanted told. Diddy's lawyers could file all the motions they wanted. Netflix wasn't taking it down. The footage stays public. The documentary remains streaming, because in the end, the man who documented everything to control his narrative just proved he never controlled anything at all. And just when it seemed like the Netflix fallout was the end of it, something far bigger was already being lined up. On December 11th, 2025, 50 Cent's Netflix documentary dropped worldwide, racking up 40 million views in 2 weeks. But here's what nobody saw coming. 50 was already sitting on 140 hours of unused footage, and he wasn't taking it back to Netflix. He was going straight to YouTube, no corporate oversight, no content guidelines, no mercy. This wasn't just round 2. This was the nuclear option. The Netflix documentary gave a glimpse 4 episodes. Corporate lawyers reviewing every frame, standards and practices, cutting anything too graphic, and time constraints forcing 50 to leave the most damaging material on the editing room floor.
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. You know, he has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public.
But YouTube is a completely different battlefield. No network notes, no censors telling him what he can and can't say, no corporate legal team sanitizing the message, just receipts, testimony, and whatever 50 decides the world needs to see. The chaos this creates is unprecedented. Netflix operates within carefully established guidelines, with reputations to protect, shareholders to answer to, and standards to maintain. YouTube has none of those constraints when it comes to user-uploaded content. First, there's the access issue. Netflix requires a subscription, a paywall between the content and millions of potential viewers. YouTube is free. Anyone with an internet connection anywhere in the world can watch immediately. Second, shareability. Netflix content stays locked inside their ecosystem, while YouTube videos spread like wildfire across every social media platform. Clips get extracted, remixed, shared, and discussed everywhere from Twitter to TikTok. Third, and most importantly, 50 Cent controls everything. Release schedule, content decisions, editorial choices, all his. Netflix operates on their calendar. YouTube operates on whatever schedule 50 wants. He could drop the entire 140 hours tomorrow, or piece it out strategically over months.
The exclusive video also shows Combs in Harlem greeting fans.
Oh, God. I'm away. Launch your way. Be with it. I'll accept.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I've been down the streets amongst the people.
That moment in the Netflix doc where Diddy greets fans in Harlem and then immediately asks for hand sanitizer. Sanitized compared to what 50 is promising for.
I feel like I need to wash. Like I'm dirty. This shows you his character.
Was that the reason for including it?
Yeah. I mean, what's the odds that you would do that in front of the camera?
Film and television would produce independently, with no corporate partner to answer to, and no distribution deal limiting what could be shown. This is 50 Cent operating completely autonomously, with full creative control over material that could redefine how we view the entire bad boy era, the legal consequences. He's apparently prepared to face them. But here's the thing, truth is a defense. If 50 is sitting on actual evidence, testimony from credible witnesses, and documentation that prosecutors didn't use at trial, what exactly can Diddy's legal team do from inside a federal prison? The producers have been vocal about what got left out of Netflix material that will shut everybody up, he says. Revelations shocking even to people close to Diddy. Evidence that will make current supporters go very quiet. Serious allegations too graphic for a streaming platform trying to maintain mainstream appeal. And witness testimonies that prosecutors chose not to use, not because they weren't credible, but because they weren't needed for the specific charges at trial.
They consider a pre-existing beef, right? For 20 years, right? It's me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping. I looked at it like it was like a test.
For years, people wrote this off as beef to rappers, with egos clashing in the public eye. But 50 always maintained this was bigger than personal grudges. This was about accountability. The Netflix documentary touched on Keith D's confession, mentioned Eric Von Zip, and showed the money trail from Diddy to potential killers.
Yeah, I can see how Pac felt like they had something to do with the setup, man. But speaking of Puffy, right, how do you feel about the rumor that Puffy, he gave a guy named Eric Von Zip a check for $1 million to give to Keith D to kill Tupac?
What the documentary didn't show was the full extent of Zip's involvement, complete financial records, and testimony from people who saw the check, heard the conversations, and knew what was really happening behind the scenes.
I mean, it's all f***ed up. It was a setup. It was a plot to murder my brother. I feel f***ed up about it. I don't know that nigga, but I ain't got no love for none of them. Straight up.
The emotion is real, the pain is decades old, and 50 is reportedly sitting on hours of additional testimony that paints an even more detailed picture of September 7th, 1996.
Syke was a Crip. Syke was an IVC Inglewood Village Crip. And he hung around. Syke would be around other Crips. So that's how,
Those gang connections run deeper than what made the Netflix cut. The Crips, the Bloods, Bad Boy, Death Roats, all allegedly documented in those remaining hours. Suga knows what happened that night in Vegas. He was in the car. He survived while Tupac didn't.
Puff and Suge had a conversation behind the House of Blues about was we all right, and Tupac was alive.
That conversation behind the House of Blues, while Tupac was still alive if the war was real. Why were the CEOs talking peacefully? Suge's version of what was said, what was agreed to, and what happened afterward could completely reframe how we understand the East Coast-West Coast narrative. 50 is allegedly sitting on prison interview footage with Suga that never made the Netflix cut raw unfiltered, and potentially devastating.
Well, it wasn't no East Coast war, bruh. It wasn't no East Coast war. And I don't believe, and Mark Curry know this for a fact.
Kirk Burroughs knew Biggie wasn't supposed to leave. New York Big ain't going nowhere, he told people on Thursday. By Saturday, Biggie was dead in Los Angeles. The Netflix doc showed Burroughs' journals, his meticulous notes from inside Bad Boy, but only excerpts only, what fit into the 4-episode structure. 50 is reportedly sitting on full journal scans, complete records of conversations, decisions, and warnings that went unheeded. Wolf Jones was Bad Boy security from the beginning, one of Diddy's original financial backers, and he refused to go to LA without proper protection.
Wolf had already told, Anthony Wolf Jones had already told them, if you're not taking two tour buses of my niggas from the Valley, that's Co-op City in the Bronx, the Valley in the Bronx, if you're not taking these 2 tour buses of my niggas out there, I'm not going.
When security says they need protection to do their job, and that protection is denied, the consequences follow.
Wolf ended up losing his life behind Puff and his bullshit. And people they didn't even put that in the documentary.
That accusation that Wolf ended up murdered because of Diddy's decisions is heavy. And if 50 has the full story, complete with testimony from people who were there, it could be explosive. Then there's the personal abuse. The allegations that went beyond professional misconduct into darker territory.
I am just in trauma-based mode right now. I wake up ready to solve all the problems of the day, and I go to sleep and I wake up and do it again.
Aubrey Day's interview revealed the ongoing psychological toll years later, still processing, still trying to understand what happened to her.
Yeah, they have incredible numbers. I first want to say the producer, director Alex Stapleton, she is one of the most incredible women I have ever worked for. I think maybe as a woman you'll understand this.
The affidavit she read in the documentary described a witness seeing her unconscious while acts were performed on her. She doesn't remember. She's not sure she wants to. But the testimony exists documented and consistent.
Do you believe Sean Combs actually assaulted you?
This is how I've started to process this piece.
That hesitation, that inability to fully confront what might have happened, speaks to trauma deeper than public scandal.
Before I answer that question, I want to tell you, I forgive myself. That was the hard one. Because when you don't grow up getting approval or you're not loved properly in your childhood, you're ripe for the picking, especially if you've had hard parents.
That moment of self-forgiveness she describes came after years of processing trauma she didn't even know existed. The Netflix doc showed her reading an affidavit describing an alleged assault. But there is reportedly more testimony, more witnesses, and more documentation of what allegedly happened at those parties.
I don't think that matters to the bigger picture. I think that he needs to do the work to forgive himself.
If it has additional testimony from other women who experienced similar situations or witnessed similar assaults, the YouTube release could trigger a new wave of victims coming forward. Here's what makes YouTube fundamentally different from anything that came before: permanence. Netflix content cycles out. Shows get removed, but YouTube, once something goes viral, lives forever. Clips get ripped, reposted, turned into TikToks, embedded in articles, shared across platforms. The Netflix documentary reached 40 million people in 2 weeks. But a viral YouTube moment reaching hundreds of millions gets dissected frame by frame and becomes part of internet culture permanently. The psychological warfare is intentional. Diddy is in federal prison serving his time, knowing that somewhere out there, 50 has material that could reopen investigations, spawn new lawsuits, and turn public opinion even further against him. He's serving his sentence in federal prison in New Jersey, with a release date of May 2028. If he serves his full term, that's 2.5 years of knowing that at any moment 50 could drop everything every day, wondering, is today the day? Every week checking for YouTube notifications blowing up. Every month realizing that his legacy, his empire, and his reputation are all in someone else's hands, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. No legal avenue to prevent the release of material obtained legally, no way to issue takedown notices on content that doesn't violate copyright or community guidelines. No corporate entity to pressure, because 50 is producing independently. NDAs don't protect you from criminal activity. If someone witnessed a crime and signed an NDA, that NDA is legally Anyone who attended these parties, saw things happen, or stayed silent due to contractual obligations, loses that protection the moment criminal behavior is documented. 50 Cent dropping names on YouTube could be career-ending for people. Lawsuits. Potential criminal charges for anyone who participated in or facilitated trafficking, assault, or abuse. The silence from other celebrities becomes deafening when you understand the stakes. Speaking out means admitting you knew. Staying silent means complicity. There's no safe position once the evidence drops publicly. December 11th, 2025, no release date announced. But 50 Cent is sitting on 140 hours of unused footage, and everyone in hip-hop knows it's coming. The question isn't if, it's when, and how much damage it will do when it drops.